Hello guys, let us see how to create our first .NET Core console application and how to debug it using Visual Studio Code. Let's get started. I have a folder called ASP.NET Core on my desktop. Let's open. Shift right click, open command window here. In my previous session, I have explained how to install .NET SDK, how to create .NET Core web application and how to set up Visual Studio Code for running .NET projects. If you haven't watched it, please do watch it. Now to create the console application .NET, and we are going to create the new project, so new and type of the project console, and if you like to have the project name same as folder name where we are going to create the project, in my case ASP.NET Core, then you can simply press the enter. Otherwise you can specify the project name. I name it as first console app. Press enter. Template console app was created successfully, and to run this application we need to move to the folder where we are having the project file. So in my case it is first console app, right? So let's move to the folder cd first console app, press enter. Now let's run it. So to run the project we can simply say .NET and use the command run. There we go, we can see the result hello world here. Let's open our project in Visual Studio Code. So for that just type code space dot. There we go. So here we have bin folder and object folder that we use to get when we create a console application. And here we have project file, and if you open it we can see target framework .NET 6.0. Before we discussing about program.cs, here we have a prompt required assets to build and debug are missing. So just click on yes. Now let's open program.cs, and did you see something new here? Yes. Usually we used to have the program.cs file with the namespace of the project and program class and main method, everything, right? And this code is equal to the code that we are having here. So this is how we used to have the program.cs in previous versions of .NET 6, right? So here whatever the statement that we write are part of the body of main method. And one more important update is here we don't see any using directives, right? Like using system.io, like we don't see the importing of namespaces. .NET 6.0 uses implicit using directives, which means whenever we create a project, compiler automatically adds a set of using directives based on the project type. Now let us see how to debug the code. And before that, here we have only one line of code. So let me write few lines of code. I am going to write the code to calculate the sum of the two numbers. So here we have the code to calculate the sum of two numbers. And here I am going to receive the input from user for a and b. Then we are going to save the result of a plus b in the total variable. To receive the input from the terminal, we need to make one change in launch.json. So the file is available under .vscode. Open launch.json. For the console, instead of internal console, let's change it to integrated terminal. Save it. Let's close this. Now we are ready to debug our code. So left side we have debug icon, just click on it, otherwise use Ctrl+Shift+D, and here we have the green button, otherwise you can press the F5 also, just click on it. Now debug process has been started. Now just go to terminal, and here it asks for enter first number, right? So just enter number 9, let's say, then it asks for enter first number. So okay, it asks because I didn't change this text, so that is okay. Just enter 9 again. So now that breakpoint at line number 8 is activated. Now here you can see that left side total integer value 0 and int a value 9 and int b value 9, right? That's what we provided. So inside this variables window we can see the values of the variables, and also we can watch the variables. So let's watch the value of total here. So total, and currently it is 0. I am sure you know the commands, right? Like to execute the line by line code we can use the F10. So press F10, then now total is 18, that you can see in the watch window. And after that and even before that you can see that here we have args strings of array, right? That we used to have in the main method. As I said, this code is part of the body of main method. So the debugging is completed, and here we can see the sum of two numbers is 18, right? So this way you can do the debugging. And now let us add a new class and how we can step into the other class and debug. So for that I am going to create new class and say person.cs. Here you can see that I am not importing any namespace, and also I am not using the project namespace. So let me quickly create a class. So class person. Let us define two properties, ctor. Now let's go to program.cs. I am going to remove this entire code. So let's create instance of person class. So where p equal to new person. Here we can see that C# extension give us the intelligence to pass the name and age, right? So let's pass Krish and age. Let us call the display method result. So where message equal to p dot display. So I am writing the code in multiple lines so that we can debug with the different options, and then console.write line message. Now let's have a breakpoint. So here, and we know that to debug the code we can press the F5. So this time I pressed F5, and this time we can see that arg strings of array and p type of person is null because we are yet to create the instance of person. So just press F11 this time, otherwise you can click on this up arrow. So just press F11. Now it comes to the constructor function of this person class. So press F10 to execute line by line code. Then now again press F11 to go to the display method and F10. Then and here we have the message with value Chris is 29 years old, and the same thing will be printed to the terminal. So go to terminal and we can see the same output. This way you can debug the console application using Visual Studio Code very easily.